I can't remember the day, but it wasn't long ago he was practicing. I think when I think Harvey left practice halfway through, came off, and at that point, I believe I told this group that he needed an adjustment, which is exactly what I thought he needed. He then went to see a doctor, and then at that time it was day to day at the morning media conference. And after seeing the doctor, he is now long term. So it's as simple as that.
How does it feel to have a 22-man roster now?
I'll let you know after the game tomorrow. Again, here's what we can't do. We can't let cap, roster, numbers, rhythm affect our opportunity at success. And we haven't really talked a lot about it other than after that exhibition game to prepare the players that it was coming. It's coming more from here. But I think if you guys are asking that question, it visually has affected us, whether it's practice or wherever. With that being said, I've also mentioned that it's nice to have a full group practicing, more reps. And we did have that today. It was a regular team, more reps. But as the year goes on, we may be going back to the other scenario, and we cannot let it get in the way of playing and playing well.
But for right now, you're going to play 12 forwards tomorrow?
We're going to play 12 forwards tomorrow and 6 defensemen and 2 goalies. Hopefully only 1 goalie.
With Victor, can you say if it's back-related or if it's a different deal?
I can't. That's not my job to give out a health report. I'm sure the team at some point will let you know, but it is long-term. We're not going to see him for a little while.
More just an indefinite and as to a quote-unquote timeline?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even begin to guess when.
Todd, the other night after the game, we talked about how you were going to use yesterday. How did you guys use yesterday, your day off? Video or
So we debated whether we were going to skate or not, and then with RV's results and the fact that he was going to be on LTI, we had numerous roster juggling scenarios, and we decided it was best for the group to see video, talk about situations, what we did well, what we didn't do well, make that practice. I feel today that the group's got a little more energy to it, which is good to see, and we had a real good practice today.
was there anything that you saw maybe in the video sessions that maybe you didn't catch during
Well,
the game?
we were able to go and contrast the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, and there was good in the game. There were some really good situations, and then we would, we'd watch 3 or 4 of them and talk about what we were doing well here, and then we would flip to 3 or 4 more clips. Exact same scenario, maybe even the same players played a lot slower, slower to react, slower to close. So it's in us. We know what to do. We just got to get it done.
That playoff series 2 years ago, Carl played with Phil and Trevor and did well with them. So how much are you kind of counting on and leaning on something maybe being recreated and the opportunity for him?
Well, I think the back end of that question, opportunity is great for him right now. He's a player that we have talked about in the past that can go up and down the lineup. He hasn't necessarily stuck on a lineup high. He works his way back to where he's comfortable, but we think he can do it, and it's a great opportunity for him. They did have some chemistry a couple of years ago, but again, that's a couple of years ago. I don't think we can put too much stock into that.
Was his goal on Wednesday like the perfect Grundy goal, makes the hit in the corner, gets to the good area, and just finishes it from there?
Yeah, and that would be Chopp's talking about, seeing the good. That was a real good forecheck. A lot of the things we needed to do happened in that situation. We were in the right position. We took advantage of an error or a mistake, and it's important for the group to see themselves doing things properly, and then contrast it maybe with something else that didn't go so well.
About a couple weeks ago, we were all standing here talking about what a good camp Alex Ferrier is having, but there's not maybe a roster spot for him, and then very quickly it opens up. Is it not only good for Alex, but for all the young players to see that it just takes a couple things to break their way and they're going to be in the lineup and even in a big spot?
Yeah, I probably when you're a young guy, you don't care how you get here. The rest of the group's a little disappointed that we lost Arvie, but Laugh's a real good replacement right now. And for any individual's gain, there's some pain somewhere else. So there's some individuals maybe playing in Ontario tonight that maybe felt they were closer, but Laugh is on the scene now, and he's played well, and he deserves the chance. So you make your breaks, and then you take advantage of them.
Todd, in that regard, did you sense any nervousness from him, LaFerriere, in his first game?
I didn't.
To handle everything.
Yeah, I didn't. In fact, I believe I've made the comment about him coming across as very mature and, maybe further along. And then I was told that he's younger than some of the players I might be comparing him to. So I wasn't even aware of that when it comes to age. But he's composed. He's not afraid of the stage that he's in right now. I think all first game players play with a lot of energy and a lot of emotion. And then it starts to level out, and that's what we'll be looking for. What will we get from Laugh when it becomes an everyday thing?
Did you have an opportunity to pound on any desks in his behalf? And if you did, do you think you were heard?
I didn't need to. The most important reason is we all saw it the same. We all saw how effective he was, so there wasn't the need to pound on any desks. And then the opportunity presented to him, or the way it evolved, it became a much bigger, longer opportunity for somebody because of RV's situation.
I don't think we asked you on Wednesday, but what'd you think of Cam's performance, first game out of the
Helps. He's adjusting and getting used to our group. I thought he made some terrific saves during the game, things that he needed to stop. I know we would like to have that third goal back. I know he would. So, yeah.
Last year, I'd asked you a question about Rasmus Kupari, and you said he might be what he is now, and that's okay. Are we at a similar point with Tobias Bjornfoot now, that he might be what he is as a kind of depth 6'7" defenseman, and that's okay for him?
Yeah, it's hard for Toby right now. He is still, again, age-wise, a young player, but he's played a lot of games. And there's some pressure on him to perform at a high level when we were running with just 6 guys. And, he's going to continue to evolve and develop. I don't know what his ceiling will be, but what he has is good enough if he applies it properly and plays with some type of assertiveness on the ice.
I'm looking at different roster situations. LaFerriere's looked good with Dubois and Fiala, but when Artie comes back, will he go back to that line and LaFerriere move somewhere else, or have you even thought that far
I haven't
ahead?
thought that far. We'll have another game to evaluate, and we'll see where it goes.
Coach, in baseball, at the beginning of the season, maybe the hitters have an advantage over the pitchers because the arms aren't developed. Is there a similar situation in hockey? Are forwards ahead of defensemen or goalies? Is there anything like that?
I think goaltending is the one that it needs reps, it needs game type scenarios. We try and recreate it as much as we can, but let's face it, if Drew's got a shot in practice from the point somebody's in the lane, he's probably not taking it. We don't. But in the game, that shot's coming through. You got to be able to fight through traffic. The intensity, for as much as we want to recreate it around the net, isn't ever quite there in practice, no matter what we try to do. So I think for the goaltenders, it's more like pitching, where it takes a little while longer.